Welcome to Two Average Brothers, and the Callisto Protocol is out, and oh my god, those are a lot of complaints.
Trash. Yeah, I love trash. Yum, yum, trash.
Hell yeah, I love that little guy.
Before we get started, I just want to say I'm not here to tear this game a new one. Yes, there are some complaints from technical issues, mostly on the PC, but the game itself is pretty good and I've been enjoying it. Now with that out of the way, let's get into it a little bit more. The Callisto Protocol was my 25th birthday present. I've been telling you how excited I am for the Callisto Protocol, but I'm nervous to buy it on day one because I don't know how it's gonna work with like a lot of big budget games that have come out recently. And I got very hyped for the game. After playing Dead Space and really enjoying my experience with it, and seeing that most of the team became striking distance and they were gonna make this game, it was the perfect storm. A modern day take on what would be a similar experience to Dead Space just seemed like the good old days of gaming, the console wars. But guess what? The console wars are dead. Let's be realistic. There's no point in defending hardware because most of the heavy hitting exclusives get moved over to the PC as well. So it's really more about the gamers versus the industry. In a sad way, it's like the industry standard that a game comes out released and it's not ready to be played on day one. We should really be expecting more from game developers, especially AAA studios. I think it's a little bit more forgivable in this case because Striking Distance is a small studio, but also Sony really helped them out in the developmental process. Unfortunately, the Callisto Protocol isn't enduring the most smooth launch. Like we said, the PC's been having constant frame rate and stuttering issues. The game was released on December 2nd, 2022. I've been playing it on the PC and yes, I've experienced these issues. And if you go through Google, you'll see other people having more issues, mostly on the PC. It seems like the console versions are doing pretty well on the Xbox and PlayStation 4 or 5 exclusive. I forgot what letter or number Xbox is at these days. I do believe first impressions are very important, especially as you see games being moved from the $60 range to the $70 range. Yes, it's understandable that they would up the price because games can be as expensive as movies nowadays. But also, when you up the price, I expect a little bit more polish on day one. My first impression of the Callisto Protocol, it's a little bit mixed. I really enjoy the game, the gameplay, the way the story's going. But yeah, the stuttering frame rate issues make it kind of hard to immerse yourself in a very cinematic story. Striking Distance is a new studio that's mixed with industry vets and as well as newcomers to the game, and it was founded by one of the Dead Space creators, Glenn Schofield. This is their first developed project, the Callisto Protocol. So with all this in mind, this game became a widely anticipated title, especially to close out 2022. And that also makes this understandable why people are upset. In terms of games being broken at launch, this really isn't one of the worst offenders, but it's still annoying to have this every time when you're waiting for a game. Me personally, I don't mind waiting until a game is ready, however much developmental time that requires. Sony also had a heavy hand in aiding Striking Distance, with over 150 developers working on the game. They kind of wanted to give it that more Sony exclusive vibe to it, even though it's a multi-platform game. Striking Distance has released a statement on Twitter regarding some of the performance issues on PC. But with the complaints and issues out of the mind, let's get into the game itself a little bit. I'm just going to be talking about some of my early first impressions of the Callisto Protocol. I'm not too deep into the game. I probably put around 2 to 4 hours roughly in it. So I'm not going to get too heavy into spoilers, but consider this also your spoiler warning. I am really enjoying the game. Jacob's an interesting character to me, and you can insert yourself in him. He seems like more of a blue-collar type guy who just ended up in a bad situation. I really do appreciate the design for Jacob's character. He looks like the type of guy that you would not want to get into a bar fight with. He looks like he's been in his fair share of fights. He just has that look like, don't mess with me or I'll kick your ass. Plus, one of the best treats was at the beginning. You get arrested by Sam Witwer. I was so happy when I saw this guy. You gotta love Sam Witwer, especially if you're like me and you're a Star Wars fan. Oh my goodness. His performances are always so great and emotional. He already gives off that vibe like I'm just gonna love to hate him. The gameplay's a fun hallway shooter, very reminiscent of the first Dead Space, and for me, a bit of that Last of Us vibe with a third-person over-the-shoulder cinematic type game. I always love those. The game has great sound design, it's very atmospheric, and the combat's brutal. The sound effects are just gross in a good way. As far as the story goes, there's a lot of mystique to it, with just enough that you know that, oh, something wrong's happening, and you just don't know why because things progress quickly, and I'm really enjoying the story beats so far. But one thing that gave me a serious was, why the is there a season pass? This is supposed to be a single player experience. How are they shoehorning this in everywhere? Modern gaming, as the Act Man would say. But let's give this game some time to unfold. It's been a mixed bag right now, mostly with PC players being angry at performance issues. There was a lot of passion put into this game. Unfortunately, it's getting some of the benefactors of being a modern game. We aren't going to judge the game because we haven't finished it yet. When it comes to our final review, we will keep the launch issues in mind. We'll see how it all plays out as time develops, but for now, that's all we got on the Callisto Protocol. What do you think about the Callisto Protocol? Have you played it yet, and are you going to play it? Let us know all that more in the comment section below. Until next time, peace!